Hello, everyone. This is the most intelligent and magnificent bird, Beak, speaking to you today. And in today's video, not only will I be going over the calendar in this calendar review, I'm also going to be going over my spoiler review of The Walking Dead Season 11, Episode 23, Family. And I hope all of you are doing good and staying safe. I'm experiencing different emotions right now because I literally just saw the episode, and I don't want to try to give anything away before I go into the spoiler review, but yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm experiencing different emotions. It's just, I'm excited, a little sad. The emotions are all over the place right now, especially after seeing this episode, but don't worry, for those that don't want to know anything, that's pretty much all I'll say is I'm feeling different emotions right now, after seeing this episode and then going into the last episode ever of The Walking Dead. And, yeah, so we're going to go over the calendar first, and I don't think we should waste any more time. I think we should go ahead and jump into the calendar, shall we? And I do apologize that the calendar here doesn't want to pop up tonight, but here we are with the calendar anyway, regardless of the picture not being there. First up on the agenda is a faction level up tournament, and that's going to be starting on Monday, November 14th, and that's going to be until Thursday, November 17th. Then we have a faction survival road tournament that's also going to be starting on Monday, November 14th, and that's going to be until Wednesday, November 16th. Then we have a solo raid tournament that's going to be starting on Wednesday, November 16th, and that's going to be until Friday, November 18th. Then we have a solo level up tournament that's going to be starting on Thursday, November 17th, and that's going to be until, I see this error here. It says November the 10th, but I think they mean to put November the 20th on that Sunday. They do mean November 20th on Sunday. Then we have the continuation of the Mythic Battle Pass Season 17, and that's going to be for a couple more weeks, about 2 more weeks until November 28th, if anyone still cares about Battle Pass at this point. Then we have the Leaf Mania event that started last Wednesday on November 9th, and that's going to be until next Wednesday, November 23rd. And to close out the week, we have Cross Region War that's going to start on Friday, November 18th, and that's going to be until Sunday, November 20th. Again, I know it says the 10th, but they mean the 20th. They really got to fix that, but there's the picture, so there you go. So I don't know why. I'm sure they'll get around to changing that 1 to a 2. But yeah, that'll be until November 20th, that would be the Cross Region War and also the Solo Level Up Tournament. And yeah, so I don't think I have much else left to say other than those that want to stick around and hear my spoiler review on episode 23 of this current season. I definitely got some stuff to talk about, and for those that don't want to hear my spoilers, I don't want to try to say anything else other than right now. Like I said earlier, I do have different emotions all at once, and partly that's because of this episode and the fact that, yeah, we're like right here at the end of The Walking Dead 2, and that's part of it as well. And I just want to thank each and every one of you for stopping by. And for those that want to stick around, trust me, you're going to want to stick around if you want to hear the spoiler review. I will be right back with it. Until next time, bye guys. Hello everyone, and I'm back for my spoiler review of The Walking Dead Season 11, Episode 23, Family. And yeah, we're pretty much near the end of The Walking Dead. After this episode is going to be the last episode ever of The Walking Dead next Sunday. And for those that want to stick around and hear my spoilers, this episode definitely is going to take you through a roller coaster of different emotions. Excited, sad, worried, and those are all of the emotions that I'm feeling right now as I have just watched the episode. And yeah, we got a lot to talk about. So for those that are still here that don't want to hear spoilers, I'm going to give you this last chance to go ahead and click off the video. That way I don't ruin this episode for you. In 3, 2, 1. Okay, everybody that's still here that wants to hear the spoilers, we're all good to go. Alright, so here it is. Episode 23, Family. This episode starts with another Judith voiceover, but I have the whole thing written down here because I think it's pretty good. It's pretty important, and just, you know what, I thought it was pretty good. And the episode starts with, there's a crate with all of our survivors' like signature weapons, and as Judith is voicing over this little thing I got wrote down here, each of these signature characters grabbed their signature weapons out of the box. And here's what Judith says in the voiceover. For the longest time, we were fighting just to survive, trying to get back what we lost. This family, my family, we would do anything to protect each other, and we're fighting now for something else, something bigger, a new beginning, but that comes with a cost. There's always a cost. I never got to know my mom, Lori. My brother Carl dreamed of a day when we would all live in peace. My mom, Michonne, tried to hang her sword up. My dad, Rick, was searching for mercy. And me? Well, I guess I'm a Grimes too. That right you are, Judith, you certainly are. I kept thinking about something my mom told me, a secret saying she used to share with my dad. It was like a good luck charm for me and RJ too. I was afraid to say it out loud. I was so afraid to say so many things out loud, but we didn't know when we started this that this would be the day everything changed forever. So, yeah. So we get confirmation that all of the kids are back with our group, aside from little Coco. She's at the Commonwealth, I believe. But yeah, all of the kids were there at Alexandria. And our group is pretty much planning on loading up the bus and loading up the train to head to the Commonwealth to take down Pamela and change things. And Judith says, I want to come with y'all, and Daryl says, like, no, I don't think that would be a good idea. And honestly, no, I don't think it would be a good idea either, but she ends up getting her way, and she ends up going with Daryl and company to the Commonwealth, while some of the adults stay with the other kids. Honestly, me and my personal opinion, I feel like Judith should have just stayed with her younger brother RJ and Gracie and Jerry's kids. Some of them do just stay at Alexandria, and as Maggie she's loading up the bus, and Negan comes around the corner and he says, do you have a plan when you get there for taking out the witch? He's referring to Pamela, obviously, and best believe that Pamela Milton, we'll get to it, but she does something in this episode, man, it boils my blood. But we'll definitely get there when we get there. And so Negan says that, me and you can take her out. And he's like, we don't need any of the others. And Maggie says, we aren't but something's gonna happen, obviously, because those two are getting their own spinoff, and that little scene is setting up for that in a way. And I'm sure, more stuff will happen. Yeah, so they're all loading up on, some of them are taking the bus, some of them are going to be taking the train there. So, yeah, our group is coming to Commonwealth, and back at the Commonwealth, they're not really rioting, but they're outside the City Hall building, saying that, we want the truth, tell us what's happening. And Pamela is looking out her window, and she's like, this is unacceptable. You mean to, she has Mercer in her office, and she also has this other Commonwealth soldier named Vickers, which honestly, I didn't know her name actually until this episode. She says to Mercer, this is unacceptable. You mean to tell me you don't know where Eugene Porter got away to? And he said that, he had help, clearly. And she's like, yeah, clearly he did. And, I might have skipped ahead a little bit, but it's revealed a little bit before this that, in fact, Mercer is the one that freed Eugene to take him back to Max and Yumiko in one of the hidden in one of the abandoned apartments. I'm not sure whose apartment that was, but it looked like someone from our group lived there. At least that's how it looks. So, yeah. So Mercer leaves, and Vickers stays behind because Pamela wants Vickers to keep an eye on Mercer because I think she's maybe starting to suspect that, I don't know, she doesn't know. She doesn't exactly know that he was the one responsible for freeing Eugene, but she has her suspicions, so she tells Vickers, keep your eye on him, watch him. And so yeah, Mercer has a close knit group of Commonwealth soldiers that helped him free Eugene, and like one of his trusted friends is knocking on the door to let him know that, hey, time's running out because that woman Vickers is radioing this one guy. And even though he's looking straight at Mercer, he says, no, I haven't seen him. He's interviewing a potential witness, and he says, when I see him, I'll send him your way. And that's what leads to the office visit. So I did get those two parts a little, I went ahead a little bit. So, yeah. So, and one thing I did forget to mention with Aaron, Jerry, Lydia, Luke, Jules, and Elijah, they were on the run from the Commonwealth, and they end up covering themselves with walker guts in the last episode, and they end up hurting a walker. That's pretty much all I forgot to say for last week. Their part gets a little bit more interesting this episode. So, Pamela has a radio she has in her office, and Vickers asks Pamela if you want us to disperse the group out, all of the people outside the city hall. And she says, no, we have options to deal with them. And what those options are is going to end up biting her in the backside and making her look like a really bad leader, as we'll soon find out. So she turns her radio on and says B-17. So she's pretty much telling the Commonwealth soldiers to redirect the herd that Aaron and them are in toward the Commonwealth. That's right. She has obviously sent a walker herd to the Commonwealth, outside of its gates once before, and we're just getting another look on that. So instead of looking for Aaron and Luke and all of them, they're now redirecting the horde, the walker swarm horde, same thing. They're directing it back to the Commonwealth because she wants to put the Commonwealth on lockdown again. That way, looking for Eugene, will be a lot easier. She's doing mandatory searches, and she tells Vickers, if y'all find Eugene, shoot him on sight, because he was planned to be executed anyway. So yeah, we're getting to the part where we're getting back to Aaron and them, and they spot an RV, so they decide to go in the RV. Aaron and Jerry and Lydia make it to the RV, but Luke, Jules, and Elijah aren't so lucky. They don't get killed, but they get separated from them. And Lydia, she tries to reach out to grab Elijah, and a walker notices this, and Lydia gets bit in the arm. So they have to drag her back into the RV, and that pretty much ends with them, tying her arm with a belt, and Jerry cuts her arm off to save her, and ultimately that does work. Even though she's lost a lot of blood, she's quote unquote fine for now, because if they wouldn't have cut the arm off when they did, the infection would have spread. And now let's jump to our group. Some of our group is on the train, and Princess is trying to get this long signal antenna working, that way she can get a message out to Mercer as they're going to get closer to the Commonwealth. So that's what's going on there. And we cut to a scene with Ezekiel and Negan, where Negan says, "I never thanked you for jumping in front of the firing squad for saving me." He pretty much wants to know why you did that. And he said for a lot of reasons. And Ezekiel, in return, wanted to know, why did you why did you give yourself up and not me? And, despite, because I know Ezekiel had that in the back of his mind the last episode when he told Negan that you sure as damn don't deserve to be a father. And he definitely had that in the back of his mind. And he was wanting to know why Negan didn't sell him out because of those remarks. And Negan pretty much said, "I did it to save my wife, I did it to save my kid, and I did it to save all of y'all." And he's like, "I sure as hell didn't do it to save my ass." And he says, I'm going to be 100%, all of you are better than me, and I did it to save all of you. So he's acknowledging that he was a pretty bad person, that, that he did bad stuff back in season 7, season 8, so that's pretty much his reason, because he wanted to do it to save everybody, even if that would have meant Negan getting killed, but that didn't happen. And then we cut back to the Commonwealth, where Yumiko is being interrogated by Mercer and Vickers, but I thought this was brilliant, because they have to try to keep their cover. Yumiko and Mercer, they obviously, both of them know where Eugene is, but they have to, he has to act like, "Where's Eugene? You were the last person seen with him." And she says, "Trust me, if I knew where Eugene was, I would be with him right now." And that pretty much ends that little interrogation scene. And Mercer, he gets a call from a radio. I forget the name. Obviously, it's from Princess, but they don't outright say it's Princess, just another name. And Princess informs Mercer, "Hey, we're coming to the Commonwealth. We got these prisoners that Lance and Pamela got rid of, and they're alive, and we're all coming to the Commonwealth to change things, to take Pamela down." And she asks him, "Are you cool with that?" And he says, yeah, I definitely am." And she says, no, Mercer says actually that if you can get those prisoners here and we can keep them safe, that I will definitely have grounds to remove Pamela, because this would be evidence of a lot of people, just all of a suddenly that disappeared, all of a suddenly them appearing, and there would be no way Pamela would get out of that. He's pretty much says that I would have legal grounds to remove Pamela if those prisoners are brought here to the Commonwealth. because it would be too much to cover up and all of that. So then we get this alarm blasting, and a walker swarm is getting pretty close to a part of the Commonwealth. So all the Commonwealth soldiers that are there have to head out and go deal with the walker swarm. And Mercer, he goes to a certain part of the sector where the walkers are. I believe it's the East Gate. I do believe so. So he goes there and he pulls troops from their different patrols to come help him deal with the walker swarm. And there are 2 of the Commonwealth soldiers out there that are riding around in their Jeep. I believe it's 2 of the Commonwealth soldiers from earlier that were redirecting the herd back to going toward Commonwealth. No, you know what? Maybe it isn't. You know what? I don't think it is. I think it's just 2 different Commonwealth soldiers, and as they're driving, there's a walker that climbs in the Jeep, and they don't notice this, and it happens to be one of the variant walkers. Yep, so we have the return of the variant walkers, and excuse me one moment, I just have to take a drink. I have to take a sip of this drink real quick. Okay, now, where was I? Yeah, the variant walker climbs in the Jeep, and that causes the Jeep to crash into the herd. And, Mercer's like wanting to know what's going on. He's like confused, and, one of the Commonwealth soldiers lets him know that, those 2 had crashed and there was a walker in there, and he asks him what's going on, and he reports back to Mercer. He says, I don't know. So yeah, we got some variant walkers in that walker herd or walker swarm. So next thing you know, I may be jumping ahead a little bit, but Mercer actually gets arrested a little bit later on in the episode because Vickers comes out of nowhere with these armed guards and says that Michael Mercer, you are arrested for treason by order of Governor Milton. So they found something, because you know what I think it was? Right before Mercer left the police station to go deal with the Walker horde, Max actually comes to see Mercer, and I think Vickers must have followed Max and found the location of Eugene, possibly. And I honestly think that's probably what happened, but I'm not 100% sure on that. And Mercer says, you know what? I'll go, but you, Vickers, you need to fortify the city's defenses. And she pretty much says, Milton says the walls will hold them. And he says, no, you don't understand. Something's going on out there. Something's not right. And he doesn't exactly know about the variant walkers himself, but he's like, nah, something ain't right with these walkers. So he's trying to warn the dummy that, look, I'll go, but since you're going to be in charge now, you need to fortify the city's defenses, because what the Commonwealth don't know, and what they will find out soon enough, is these variant walkers, they can climb stuff. They don't know that yet. Even Mercer really doesn't know that, but he's trying to warn her, hey, something's going on, we don't know exactly, but you need to get the city more prepared, and they just take him away, and I assume, we'll see him probably the next episode, because we don't really see him again in this episode. And, Mercer was supposed to meet Princess and our group to let them into the Union Station. That's where, like, the trial and all of that took place. So they decide to find their own way in, because Mercer does tell Princess how to get into the Union Station, because there's like an abandoned industrial building or something that's attached to it. And they all get there to the Union Station, but the Union Station building on the inside is completely empty. And if you pay attention, there's locks on the inside doors. So nobody can get in and nobody can get out. And a few of the prisoners, they take a lead toward the more open area of the Union Station, and that's when these armed gunmen just come out of nowhere and start pow pow pow, just start shooting. And I believe Tyler Davis also got killed here. I mean, it definitely looked like it, because he definitely got hit along with two of the other prisoners that were taken. So all this gunfire is happening. They're all trying to find places to hide. And Pamela, she comes out of nowhere while all this is happening. And she's up, they're all up on the upper floor. So they have the advantage here, because they laid a trap for them. So I assume we're going to find out how they found out they were coming there. I'm sure they were able to find out somehow, definitely, because they laid a trap for them. So with all this gunfire taking place, I think Maggie I think she kills one of the armed gunmen, because next thing you know, Pamela, one of the armed gunmen toward her gets shot, and she picks up an assault rifle, and she's gonna shoot Maggie when Judith pushes Maggie out the way, and Pamela shoots Judith. Yep. Yeah, she was aiming on killing Maggie, but Judith pushes her out the way and takes the bullet for her. Man, that had my blood boiling. I'm not gonna lie, and it still kind of does right now. It's still pretty fresh, and I don't think Judith is dead, but still, I hope Pamela gets it right between the eyes next week. We'll see, but it still got my blood boiling. And we still don't know what happened. I know this doesn't have anything to do with what's going on at this point, but we still don't have an answer as to what happened to Dog. Like, I'm not sure. I know that's kind of random, but that's something I want to know the answer to. I don't know, but yeah, Judith is there. She's been shot by Pamela. And they all decide that, we need to get out of here. And they end up killing pretty much the majority of Pamela's hitmen. I think maybe one or two of her hitmen are able to just scrape by, but the majority of them do get killed, except for two of her hitmen, and of course Pamela herself. Ooh, that evil witch, So they all decide to get out of there by creating Ezekiel actually, he throws this fire extinguisher up in the air, and Daryl shoots the fire extinguisher to create smoke so they can, get out of there. He's carrying Judith, and they end up getting outside, and this is where we obviously find out that, this is not where we find out, but this is where the Commonwealth soldiers end up finding out about the variant walkers, because they end up radioing, that the climbers, that the walkers are climbing. They're climbing the walls, and one of them, one of the Commonwealth soldiers shoots one of the climbing walkers, only for another climbing walker to sneak up behind him and take him out. So yeah, we have the variant walkers now inside the Commonwealth. Yep. So as we get back to Daryl and Carol and all of them running to try to go find a doctor for Judith. Now, she's still alive, probably by barely, because we're getting to the end of this episode here where Vickers, first of all, Vickers informs Pamela Milton that the zombies are inside the city, and she's like, that's not possible. She's like, ma'am, yeah, the dead, they are climbing the walls, they're inside the city, and she actually Vickers, that is, has somewhat of a, I guess, good idea. She's like, she shows Pamela a map, and she says, if we hold here, that we can have a possibility of saving most of the city. She says, I'm not gonna lie, it's a low chance, but it's better than not. And Pamela, only thinking about herself, of course, she says, of course Pamela is only thinking about herself and all of her rich friends at this point. She's like, no, make sure that all of you block off the estates and put extra guards around my home and redirect the walkers toward the lower ward. That's where all of the poor people and all of the citizens live. So yeah, she's like, that's a really bad leader right there. She's going to sacrifice more than thousands of people to save her own skin. Yeah, I definitely don't see Pamela leading the Commonwealth anymore after next week's episode. That is, if they don't kill her. I see her definitely being thrown in jail or something. I gave my predictions in my last video about what I think is going to happen with Pamela. And honestly, I would be okay with option number 1, honestly. But I could see them going with one of the other 2 options I presented. So, yeah, she's like, yeah, we need to close off the estates. And we just need to let the lower wards deal with the walkers, and that's where Daryl and all of them are running to go to the clinic, and the Commonwealth is purposely trapping and closing off the lower wards. That way the walkers are trapped in the lower wards with all of them, and all of them pretty much go, they tell Daryl to go, to go on, we'll hold off the walkers. And when Negan sees that there's a walker that climbs over this barricade, he says, what the fruit? He actually doesn't say that, but perfect moment for him to say that, because obviously he has never seen anything like that. So all the rest of them hold off the walkers while Daryl runs off with Judith in his arms to probably go find some help, obviously. And she says, Daddy? And I think as she's in that moment where she's been shot, she thinks she's dying, and she thinks that she sees Rick Grimes. So, yeah, a lot of emotions in this episode, and man, I thought it was I thought it was definitely better than last week's episode for sure. Man, I am just, oh man, I am just like excited, sad for Judith, man, because she got shot. She should have stayed at Alexandria and that wouldn't have happened. Man, and I'm worried, and it's just, oh man, I can't wait for next week. And I'm sad because next week's episode is it for The Walking Dead, for the main show. And, you know, I do apologize if I forgot anything. You know, they were obviously going to the Commonwealth to try to take down Pamela Milton, and also, you know, Rosita and Gabriel were also there for another reason, to go get Coco back, obviously. And yeah, I don't think I have much else left to say. We'll definitely see what happens in the very last episode of The Walking Dead. I believe it's going to be, the last episode is going to be titled Rest in Peace, and that's a fitting title for the last episode, I gotta be honest, because that doesn't necessarily, that just means, you know, rest in peace for the show, and I think that's very symbolic. And, yeah, if I forgot anything, which I'm trying to think if I did, I don't think I did, but if I forgot anything, oh, you know what? Eugene does have a moment in this episode too. When he's hiding out in this apartment, he takes out a Commonwealth soldier, which I thought it was kind of dumb for him to open the door when the Commonwealth soldiers are doing their mandatory searches. He manages to take out a Commonwealth soldier, which I thought that's something that he needed, you know? And other than those things and everything I talked about, I don't think I have much else left to say. I just gotta say, hopefully Judith doesn't die. I'm gonna make a prediction. I'm gonna say she doesn't. I don't think she will, but it's still just, oh man, it definitely got to me. I did not expect that to happen. But my predictions, I don't think Judith is going to die. I think she's going to live, because she's been given those voiceovers for each of the episodes in part 3. I don't know if she'll give one in the last episode. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But I think Judith will live. I think Pamela Milton is absolutely going to get what she deserves, what's coming to her. Absolutely, man. She just... Ooh, she just makes my blood boil, and I have to give it to the actress that plays Pamela Milton. She's doing a good job at just being so so despicable, being just a Weasley villain. Absolutely, I will give the actress that for sure, for being a Weasley villain for sure. And yeah, again, if I forgot anything else, I do apologize. It was just a lot going on in the episode. And yeah, I think that's pretty much going to do it for this one. I want to thank each and every one of you for stopping by and for your continued support. Or if you're new, welcome in for the first time. All of you are very awesome, and I thank you again. And don't forget to hit the bell and switch on all notifications so you know the second I upload to YouTube. I am Buck Beak, and I'm gonna go fly away back to my nest. Until next time, bye guys.